Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Thanks for spending a few minutes while we talk about movies. I know I'm the one doing all of the talking, but you're still welcome, and I'm so glad you're here. And for those of you who have just discovered my channel, welcome. And let me tell you kind of what my goal is here at Movie Review Mom. It's to give you the heads up on the filmmaking quality and content in movies so that you can make the best decision for you and your family and decide if you want to spend your time and money on a particular film. So with that little introduction, let me talk about today's movie, which is called Sylvie's Love. The movie actually opened on Amazon Prime on December 23rd. I raced out of town to spend Christmas with my family, and so now I'm behind on giving you the full scoop on all of these movies that came out during the Christmas break. But I'm back, and I'm posting videos every day of movie reviews. So be sure and subscribe and ring that little bell, and it'll notify you every time I upload a new movie review. And I want to thank Amazon for sending me the screener so that I could watch it before it came out. Now, the movie is rated PG-13. It's an hour and 54 minutes. And the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is an A-. I actually really enjoyed it. So let me give you a nutshell overview. I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents and suggestions on things to talk about that illustrate the themes in the movie. So you can have conversations with your friends and family or whomever you watch the movie with. All right, so first, in a quick nutshell, as I mentioned, the movie was presented by Amazon Studios, which is one of the big heroes of 2020, as we've all been quarantined in our homes and socially distancing and not going to theaters. I love that they have pumped out so many great quality movies this year for us. Anyway, this movie is a lovely tale that takes place in New York City in the late 1950s through into the early 1960s. And it was directed by Eugene Ash, who actually grew up in Harlem, New York. And you can feel his love for the city, I think, in the movie. It's kind of a reimagining of that time period for African Americans, yet it's a timeless telling of star-crossed lovers. It really does transport you back in time, and it will satisfy those who love old dramatic romance movies. Now, some tips for parents. Even though the movie is rated PG-13, I think most kids honestly are just going to be bored. There is some talk of intimate relations, and then you see an unmarried couple rolling around in bed. There's some profanity, and there's some talk of infidelity. Some themes in the movie that are illustrated are talk of economic stations and infidelity, as I mentioned, fate, love, the purpose of your life, choices and their consequences, following your heart, the secrets we keep. And then here's a quote that actually Robert, who's played by Nnamdi Asomugha, and I'm sure I said his name wrong, but anyway, his character says, he says, life's too short to waste time doing things you don't absolutely love. And that message and theme of the movie is illustrated on a couple of different levels. Now, there were plenty of things that I really liked about the movie. First of all, Tess Thompson. She gives a fierce performance and evokes all the feels. She's really fantastic. And she looks as cute as a button in her very stylish 50s and 60s outfits. She also worked on the film as an executive producer for the film. Now, the leading man is Nnamdi Asomugha. He was a pleasure to watch, and I thought he really looked the part. And what was interesting for me to learn was that he had a 10-year career in the NFL. He hasn't been acting for years and years, and I thought that he did a really good job. He was believable, I thought. Jazz lovers will absolutely love the soundtrack. And music itself is one of the characters in the movie. And I really liked that. Now, if you don't like jazz, I think you can still absolutely enjoy the movie. The director, Eugene Ash, has a musical background. And again, I think that you could really feel that coming through in the movie and how he put the film together. AJ Naomi King is a delightful breath of fresh air. Every time she was on screen, I found myself smiling and laughing, and I just wanted to be her girlfriend. I just thought it would be fun to go hang out with her, like she does with her cousin, who's played by Tess. I remember watching the TV show I Love Lucy with my mother when I was a very little girl. And I love that they showed the classic Candy Factory episode on the TV that Sylvie was watching when Robert walks into her father's store. Again, it just transported me back in time. And I think that the movie does that really well. It's, in fact, one of the movie's strengths is you really do feel like you're back in the 1950s. Well, that's before I was born, but you just feel like you're transported back in time. And then I felt like the two leads had great chemistry together. I think that magical first kiss really captured the moment well of the surprise of falling in love in an instant. You feel the tenderness and the anguish as the couple comes together and as they're pulled apart. And I just really felt that through their performances. I also really love it when New York City is one of the characters in a movie. You really get a feel for the city and its magical pull on you. Wendy McLendon-Covey's characters in movies always crack me up. She tends to be in a lot of movies that feature African Americans. And so I just kind of laughed when I first saw her. And then her character is just very endearing as well. Just lovely cinematography by Declan Quinn. And the movie was actually made on a pretty small budget, but it doesn't look or feel like it. So that's always super impressive. Now, there were a few things that I didn't like. First of all, there's not a lot of humor. This is pretty straight drama. I thought it would have added an interesting element to show what was happening in the civil rights movement in the country at the time. Just again, to add some authentic flavor to the time period. The characters are a little bit cliched with some plot tropes that we've seen many times before. And then, other than pure physical attraction, I would have loved to have seen that the relationship was built on some more substantial ground. Now, later on, it is, but in the beginning, I know most of the time it is physical attraction, but it always makes me crazy when the relationship is quickly advanced in a movie. And I know they've got to condense it because it's a movie, but it oftentimes is only based on physical attraction and flirtatious moments. You know what I mean? Anyway, some of the scenes could have been shortened to improve the pacing and some of the editing issues. And then finally, some of the subplots and characters were underdeveloped and felt maybe rushed. Now, in all of my movie reviews, I write down the funny lines or interesting lines that I want to share with you. And actually, I have them all written on my written movie review website, which is called moviereviewmom.com. So if you want to see more of those, you can run over there and check them out. But I'll just share a couple of them with you right now. One is one of the themes of the movie, and it's also spoken by Tessa Thompson. And she says, "I can't be the woman of your dreams while I want to be the woman of my own." So like, yes, all movies nowadays are about female empowerment. There's definitely that element in the movie, and how her character really struggles with wanting to fulfill her dreams, wanting to be a good daughter, wanting to be a good wife or mother, and yet be a career woman as well. And then the movie just made me laugh when Robert always says to her, "See you later, alligator," because my dad used to say that all the time when I was a little girl. Maybe that was a 60s phrase or something, I don't know. And then finally, before I leave you today, I wanted to give you a recommendation for another movie that I think you might enjoy if you enjoy this one. And it's probably no big surprise. It's La La Land. So it also features jazz music and a love story and star-crossed lovers and that kind of thing. Not an African-American cast like this one. All right, that's it for my review today. I hope that you'll subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I will catch you in the next movie review. Bye for now.